the day is, oh, they always say it's about her. It's about both of you, but just remember, like, make it special, make it fun. And no matter where you get married, whether you get married in a bathroom or an outhouse or a boathouse or a yacht or whatever, it's the commitment you're making to each other, and that could be done in any place, way, shape, or form.
So I want to welcome everybody to the Wedding Workshop Podcast. Super excited about this episode. We're all about keeping our engaged couples engaged and involved, and there's no better time than to talk about, this COVID-19 situation that we're in. Super excited to have a groom, Parag. Did I say that right?
You did.
Okay, and your wife's name?
Kristen.
You just got married. When was your wedding?
Today's Tuesday? Mm-hmm. A week ago.
A week ago, fresh.
Yep.
Newlyweds. Still
That's
right. You're at a stay-home honeymoon, is what I call it, right?
That's right. We had also after the wedding, we had a pre-drinks before flight in the kitchen. Then we flew over to the dining room. Took a little cuddle jumper to the living room where we watched the movie. And then we flew down the hallway, went through customs, and then we were in bed by like 9.
That's awesome. So once again, I want to thank you so much for deciding to be on the show. I got a few questions here for you. So first one is like just tell me your overall experience, because I know a lot of couples right now, they're kind of thinking in their mind like, how do we do a Zoom / Facebook wedding, right? So can you kind of like walk us through what your experience was like?
So up until our wedding, I've never used Zoom before, so I didn't know what it was, and like all my gym people are like, "Oh, I'm doing a Zoom thing." I'm like, I don't know what that is. Even though I have a background in IT, so I have an idea of what it is, but I've never actually used the app. So that was always in our head of doing that and stuff like that. But it was almost lost your foot, but so it was. Remind me of the question again.
What was the overall experience?
Oh, it was great. Using an unknown platform and stuff like that it's ended up being quite perfect, really, because of Zoom's ability to like show everybody's pictures. So like after the wedding, we were able to like look at the screen and like kind of say hi to everybody and stuff like that. Obviously not 100% ideal, but it's super unique and super different, and you're never going to forget it, right? So even all of our guests have never done it before, and they're like sitting in their cubicles or working from home, or they were homeschooling their kids, and they took a break to like go watch a wedding.
So you did the Zoom and you did Facebook Live?
Yes. So I told my family, we wanted to have our family on the Zoom thing because it's like 100-person max or whatever. So we told our family to give them the link for it. And then I decided like the last minute, I'm like, you know what? I can actually prop my phone up against like one of the statues and like get a pretty good angle. So that one I just kind of set off like 5 minutes before the wedding started. I'm like, hey everybody, we're getting married.
So you did two. You did the Facebook Live and you did the Zoom. So you had did you have a computer and a cell phone?
Yes. So the cell phone was like at the base of one of the statues, so you really couldn't see it. And then the laptop we set up about like 6. So if the place we got married like a square, it was like 6 feet off on a table, which we decorated with like a nice tablecloth and some rocks and stuff, and put the laptop there facing a certain direction. We had everybody giving a good angle and talking about like what works and what vantage point works. And then we just set it up.
Laptop for Zoom,
yep.
Phone for Facebook Live.
Yep.
So talk to me about you guys planning this wedding. COVID happens. You're thinking we're gonna postpone, and then you just end up canceling your wedding. So I know a lot of couples right now, especially the couples that are getting married in June and July, right?
Yeah.
The wedding was in April. COVID hit in March, so you had like a few weeks, if that, to really make a decision.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of walk the audience through what how do you come to the decision? Listen, you know what? We're done.
Yeah. Well, so
but the wedding, but the celebration is done.
Right, like we decided to like go through everything as planned until it gets to a point where it can't go. So we were working with the vendors, getting the list out together. I went to the vendor location for like the tasting menu thing, and like a day before that in March, Ned Lamont said no gatherings of 150 people or more. So we're like, well, that's a problem because our wedding was like going to be almost 300 people, plus the employees of the hotel, plus any other guests in that hotel. So now I'm creating a little mini city. So that's a lot of risk. So we're like, well, you know, my parents obviously they were down to come, and then a couple of relatives that are older, or in as a first responder said we're not allowed to leave because we have to stay. And then our older relatives are like, you know, we don't necessarily feel comfortable being on a plane, which you can't fault them for. You can't get mad. You're like, yeah, I totally understand. You want to take care of yourself. And that's when kind of hit us, and we're like, well, honey, I'm like, you know, I love you and I want to be with you forever, and I want to start a family together, and I want us to do that while we're married first. And she agreed. So I said, unfortunately, you know, you probably don't want to say it, but I'm going to say it, that we have to cancel. And so, you know, at the end of the day, it's like for all you other bride and grooms out there, it's an unselfish decision and a difficult decision that you have to make on behalf of all the people you care about. So it's like, I had a awful feeling that my family, not awful feeling, but it is true that my family and our family loves us very, very much. And like they've been looking forward for this wedding for like, you know, 6-8 months, and they couldn't wait for like, they bought their outfits and they went to India and got things made. Everybody was super happy and excited to like party. And so we just said to ourselves, like, what if these people come out of love, and an employee has it, gets one of my family members sick, I have it, I get someone sick, or somebody gets sick, then that means that every April 25th, which is our original wedding date, we'll say, hey, happy anniversary, and will we be mourning the death of somebody, or thinking about how we wanted to get married so badly that we burdened a whole bunch of other people. And so that was a guilt that I didn't want to have for the rest of my life. So we decided to, you know, cancel that and do a wedding earlier on the 18th with just my parents coming down from Boston and her mom who lives locally, and then a couple of people. But the situation kept on getting worse, and my parents have been self-quarantined for like a month. And I own a liquor store, so I've been working every day, taking all the precautions with, you know, sanitizing and masks and all that other stuff. But still, there's always a risk. And I'm younger, so I might be a carrier with no symptoms. Who knows? So then I thought, well, okay, now if my parents come or her mom comes, and then what if one of them gets sick? So we're like, well, I don't think we could do that either. So then we're like, well, let's just, you know, we want to be, our main focus is us being together, and to make it something memorable for our family without putting them in danger. So then that's when we came up with the idea of just doing it locally, and then we were just going to do a videographer who was there, my friend. He was going to tape it and then make the movie. But I'm like, you know what? We had this Zoom thing that everybody's using for the gym and stuff like that. So let me just figure out what the hell that's all about. So I asked my buddy who owns a gym, I'm like, hey, can I borrow your account? He's like, sure, you know, no problem. So he actually canceled class that day just so I could use his account to do the wedding.
Wow.
Yeah, so that's pretty cool.
So you had originally postponed it and said we're gonna try to do this on another day. And
Earlier.
Yeah. You try to push it up, right? Yeah. And then things just started getting worse, and you just said, you know what?
It's not worth it. Yeah.
And so you didn't even have a Zoom account.
No, I still don't. I mean, I have the free one now after that whole thing. Yeah. I have the free one now, but it's like, you know, there's a weird concept for me because I usually use like WhatsApp video chat or Facebook video thing. So like I'll talk to my parents and stuff like that with that. So that was a little bit of a ramp up. That was almost a disaster, like because my parents didn't know how to install it and like they didn't know what to do. And then like my family members are all older and like not necessarily like computer savvy. So had I in hindsight, if I knew I was going to do this, I'd contact everybody like a couple days before and set up a mock like rehearsal Zoom.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
Good.
just so everybody, because one of my aunts called me and she said I was crying because it wouldn't work, and then asked me for a password, didn't know what it was, and then I didn't see that your second email had the password and this and the other thing. So it's like, oh, so it's terrible, right? So like if you're gonna do this, do it as if you're doing a rehearsal dinner for a regular wedding, and like make sure everybody can log on. If anybody has any problems, deal with them then instead of trying to deal with it like 10 minutes before the wedding starts. We got everybody on, I think, except for maybe like a couple of people couldn't do it, but for the most part, I got done, which is good. And then we recorded it, so it's super cool, so we can see everybody's reactions.
Oh, wow, you recorded, yeah, because you can record on Zoom like we're doing now.
Yeah.
And so you still have those memories. So how did you, you know what, before I go into that question, so you guys decide to cancel your wedding, right?
Yeah.
Now kind of walk us through post-cancellation, right? What should other couples experience if they're going to be canceling their wedding?
Oh, well, this is not going to sound good, but it's the truth. You feel terrible. You feel like you let each other down. You feel cheated. You feel out of control. You don't have control, which is really kind of crappy. But you look over and you say, well, if things are going to go wrong, you have the best person in the world, your best friend, by your side. So it hurt for like a few days, and obviously still talking about it now obviously hurts. But at the end of the day, got married. So yeah,
you got some wine on the table. So okay. So, you know, after you deal with the emotions, then we got to get down to business. We got to kind of, so what was the process of letting your friends and family?
So we called my mom and then my parents and her mom. And we said, you know, this is what we're going to do. And they were 100% supportive. And they're like, okay. They're like, yeah, that makes sense. You know, what you did is very good. And we're proud of you for making that decision. Because I think that ultimately everybody's thinking about it, right? You know, everyone's like, you know, I don't know if I should go. What if I get sick? And that's the other thing. Oh, you know what? But if I don't go, then maybe they'll get mad at me, or maybe they'll be hurt. I don't want to hurt them. So you know, they were super supportive. And we just told our friends, because we had mainly just family coming, and then a few friends. So I just sent a text real quick and said, hey, wedding's canceled. But you know, the good thing is we did our wedding via Zoom, but we told everybody we're just going to do a reception, and like the most badass, biggest reception ever when everything clears up.
Yeah, that's a
so
good. That's good, right? So, you know, maybe you weren't able to attend the ceremony, but we still gonna have a party.
Oh hell yeah, yeah. So you know, and then what we're going to do is my videographer that did that teaser video that I showed you, he's going to obviously make the full video, and so that will be playing on loop during the reception.
Awesome.
Yeah, so you'll be able to, you'll almost be there ish.
And you have the video from the Zoom that you recorded that you could.
Exactly.
Wow.
Yeah. So he's going to do some fun editing with that. So at the end of the day, you're still getting married and you're still starting your life together. For like other people that are maybe younger, like I'm 44, so you know I wanted to get married.
35. What's that? That you was 35.
As I dye my beard.
Yeah. You know, it's that good wine you drinking, right?
That too.
Fine wine.
Yeah. So you know, if marriage is not like that big of a deal for you, then you know, postpone, and most vendors should be fine with it. But if you want to get married soon and start your life together, or do whatever you need to get done, then you know, it's just a virus. If something happens, you have no control over it. At the end of the day, it's about how much you love each other and what you guys want to do for each other. And if you're both in agreement, great, get it married fast, sooner rather than later. If one of you is hesitant and says, I really want this perfect wedding in a church and I want to do this and I want to do that, then you know what? I don't think anyone's going to fault you for wanting to wait. But the best thing is, no matter what decision you make, no one's going to be upset with you.
So you could have had an option to like plan your wedding in 2021, right? Why opt for that?
Because we want to start a family together.
Yeah.
So you know, and we wanted to be married to do that. So yeah, like if I already had kids, or we already had kids, and you know it didn't matter, then we would have just waited, right? Because we're already living together. Like, you know, the difference is just a ring on my finger kind of thing, and a promise to each other, but which we already made, right? When I got engaged, I made that promise. So I said, will you be mine forever? And she already said yes, so it's fine.
And I think couples need to weigh that option, right? You need to weigh what's important to you, right?
Mm-hmm.
You guys starting a family and, you know, not waiting. You're ready to get the ball rolling, right?
Exactly. Right.
Around. So what was it like working with vendors as far as the cancellation process?
In the beginning, our vendor, the location folks, they're corporate, you know, corporate things are corporate. So they're like, well, right now they haven't decided to like cancel anything. So if you want to cancel, you risk we're losing a security deposit. And so I was like, oh, that's a lot of money. So I was like, well, you know, let's just take a day and think about it. What I meant by that is I'm going to go call my lawyer. So I called my lawyer. He said, you know, did you sign a contract? I'm like, of course I did. He said, did you read the contract? I'm like, no, not really. So he looked at my contract and he's sitting there outside of my store and it was a nice day. He's reading it. He's like, oh, dude, you have a force majeure. I'm like, a what? He's like, dude, you have a force majeure. I'm like, you sound really excited, so I'm going to be excited with you, but can you please tell me what the hell that means? So he's like, this is an act of God clause. I'm like, what's that? Okay, please continue. So he said this, a force majeure, which is, I guess, most corporate contracts have this in a very small writing at the end of the thing that states, if there's an act of God or a situation making it illegal for you to have your event. So now all states are sheltered in place and like you can't have gathered more than 6 people. So unless you sign a contract to have a 6-person wedding, which nobody does, then this contract is null and void. So I politely just sent an email to them because I did like the vendor. They're really nice people. They're super helpful. And I said, hey, this is an act of God. So we decided to cancel the wedding, but instead of like getting married later, we want to get married sooner, which therefore means that we won't necessarily need your services. And real quick, they wrote back and they said, no problem. You'll have your money back in a couple of days. And it was that easy. So that was nice. And then the other ones, the photographer is a good friend of mine and he's in business by himself. So, you know, refunding me the money would be like a huge hit to his own like livelihood because this is only income. So I was like, well, you know, we're going to need this eventually. So I said, whatever deposit it is, you know, I'll work it out with you. And he was super happy about that. But I'm sure he would have given my money back too. And then the decorator, very simple. She's like, yep, you know, I'll send your money back tomorrow. DJ was the same way. And that's the key too. Like when what I chatted to you before about when you pick vendors, you're picking the quality, you're picking the price, but you're picking the person, right? So if the person you're dealing with is the cheapest around, but they rub you the wrong way, what are you really saving, right? And so you have to ask yourself, like, who are these vendors I'm working with? Would they be someone that I would come and have a beer with or have a drink with or hang out with? If they're not those kind of people, then why are you hiring them? Because it's just going to make friction whenever you have situations like this. So that's a word of advice too. Just make sure you're picking the right people that you would hang out with. And money is obviously tight for a lot of people. But at the end of the day, you don't want to have a second wedding because the first one the photographer didn't take enough pictures or whatever. You know.
You're speaking my language. You know, vendors, we talk about this all the time. Like it's super important. Number one, to build that rapport with your vendor. It's important to have that relationship. Obviously, you want them to be qualified to perform that. But that relationship is important. I mean, not only with the entertainer, with everybody, right? Because this is your team, right? Like, you know, I think about a photographer, right? Can you imagine you don't get along with your photographer and they're trying to tell you to take pictures, stand over here? I mean, right? And you don't like them, so. You know, I'm super excited that you said that, right? Having that relationship with them, getting to know them, and you know, at the end of the day, making sure that they're a right fit for what you're looking for.
Exactly.
And that's why I encourage all my couples, you know, before you invest in any vendor, meet with them. Yeah. Right? The website might look great, you know. Their social media might look amazing, and then you meet with them and you're like, sometimes it's like, I don't know what it is. I just don't vibe with this person. Right? You don't have to like everybody. Very true.
Yeah, I mean, like, and then like sometimes you go to the vendors and they're like, well, we're really busy and we can fit you in, but you have to let us know right now. I'm like, well, that's not very nice. Doesn't make me want to like work with you.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
You want to pull out the checkbook quicker.
Yeah, right. It's not gonna be
do for me. What are you
right. Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
And listen, a wedding is it's a major investment.
Sure.
You spend a lot of time, effort, energy, resources. So, you know, it's a big event and you want to make sure you have the right team together. So let's talk about the honeymoon, right? I mean, you guys planned the honeymoon. What was, you know, unfortunately you have to cancel the honeymoon. What was that experience like?
So I waited because I was lazy. Not lazy, but it's like everybody told me like, listen, if you're going to make this phone call, make sure you have a beer or something because you're going to be on hold for a very long time. So I'm like, all right, fine. So like I picked a finally day like last week. I think actually I did it the day after we got married. I went down to my store, I went to my office, and I cracked open a beer, and I dialed the number. All right, you are on hold. Your current wait time is 121 minutes. I'm like, oh my God.
I'm probably going to assume that because everybody's kind of, that book right. Vacation is probably canceled. Or
Right. So then they waited on hold. I had to like call my employer. I'm like, can you bring me down more beer? It's taking longer than I thought. But then I got on the phone with the guy and I said, listen, you know, we love the resort. Obviously, we want to go back there. We just don't know when. And if things go the way we want to and she's in, you know, is a little bit fatter, then I don't want to bring her to an all-inclusive resort with alcohol and stuff while I'm just sitting there getting bombed. And she's just sitting there getting mad at me. So I'm like, you'd be really saving my life. He's like, gotcha, hold on a second. So he put me on hold for like another half hour. And he's like, all right, yeah, you're all set. He's like, they actually offered me two options. And it was full refund in 60 to 120 days or something like that. Or I can postpone it up until December of 2021. And I would actually get 50% more or something like that in spending. So like
more value.
Right. So like the wedding was like the package was like, let's say $4,000. So they said we'll give you $6,000 to spend at this place. So like you could upgrade the room or you could do whatever. But like, you know, that wasn't our intention. Wasn't to like save money. Like we would want the money back. So we're like, you know, I appreciate that, but I'm like, you know, if you could just give the money back, I'm like, you know, you guys have been so nice. Whenever it comes time to actually leave the country, that's the first place I'm going to go because they were just super nice about it. So
awesome. Yeah. So you said you had invited what, 300 plus people?
Yeah, so it was 140 invites went out, so like a total with kids and people, like couples and stuff.
Plus ones, right? I always forget the plus ones, right?
Yeah.
So how did you inform your guests, wedding party family members? So
we told our parents directly, and my cousins directly via like a WhatsApp chat, and then I left it to my mom to call all the family members because it's a lot of phone calls, and I was in the middle of the store working like 13 hours a day, so I couldn't sit there and make a bunch of phone calls. And plus, like right afterwards, you're feeling kind of raw and emotional, and the last thing you want to do is like talk to family member because the only thing they're going to do is try to make you feel better. But that 3 days after we decided to cancel it aren't time that I want anybody to make me feel better. I just want to like just be with my fiance at the time and, you know, love each other and deal with it. You know what I mean?
That's you know what? That's great advice. Like, if you cancel your wedding, you should probably put somebody in charge.
Yeah.
Of letting the rest of the family members know, because you know how people are, right? You know, some people, you know, they want to interrogate you. What happened? What's going on? You can't postpone your wedding. What? Right? And it's like, and you know, for the guests, I understand as well. Like, they've probably invested money too, right? They probably got plane tickets already,
right?
Outfits or gifts. Hopefully, they still send those gifts. Hopefully, you have to get Amazon packages every day.
Right.
So yeah, that's good. So I like that. Put somebody in charge and let them deal with. Obviously, you get in contact with your closest friends and family members, but the majority of people just kind of like outsource that. All right. So when you got, so did you have any technical experience when you set up this the Zoom or the Facebook Live?
I mean, well, I was a 10-year IT guy, so I do know my way around computers. But just, a new application always takes like a minute or two to figure out. So like I finally figured it out like 10 minutes before everything started. I'm like, oh, that's how that works. All right, cool, good.
So you just downloaded the app, you got it loaded up. I'm imagining you sent out a link to.
Yep. Yeah, the link I'd sent out, and I guess you have to be careful because one of the links you can send out has the username and password in the email, and then the other one is a link that has the username and password embedded in the link. So I sent the first one out correctly, and then I thought I messed up, so I sent the second one out, but the second one was without the username and password. So then everybody's all confused, and then I didn't realize it was the same link both times. So I could have just saved everybody a bunch of hassle and just given them the link.
So make sure the link that you send out has.
Right. That's why staging it a day or two ahead of time is key. Do it for like 10 people and say, here, can you all log in? Let's see if this works.
Yeah.
And then also
run first, do a test run.
Right, and I found out that Zoom, the regular Zoom accounts can do up to 100 viewers. So, but you can buy a expansion to get up to like 300 or 400.
Wow.
So you can actually get more people watching and stuff. That if that's in the cards kind of thing. The Facebook Live, I have I don't know how many friends I have on Facebook, but like if all of them went onto the Zoom, it would run out. So I figured the Facebook Live thing would be good because Facebook Live records it while it's doing it anyways, so it just sits there, so people can look at that. And it was like the way I just guessed at where I think I want to put the phone, and it worked out perfectly.
So I know with the Facebook Live, you can when you go live, you can do it public, so everybody that's friends can see.
Yeah.
Friends only. What did you guys decide to do?
That's funny because almost all my posts are private, just my friends can see it. Somehow I accidentally clicked public.
Really?
So anybody that happened to be on Facebook that happened to be my feed popped up or something was watching our wedding. I don't know if you could tell how many people watched it, but it was kind of funny. I was like, I probably shouldn't have done that. So yeah, I think doing a test run is definitely key.
Yeah, it was something I was thinking about. Like, some people are really private. They don't want everybody in the community.
Exactly.
On. So I did notice there is a feature that says like friends only, or you can do public, which everyone can see. So that's something that that's good advice for our couple. So what was the connection like?
It was good. Nobody had a problem. They said that the feed was great. We were on the Wi-Fi network at our house and regular, internet cable modem thing, and no one complained about a lag or anything. And we watched the video, and it was great. Technology makes it like, imagine doing this 15, 20 years ago, it would have been terrible. It would have been a lot worse. It would have been like the videographer would have to make the movie, and then have to send the DVD out to everybody. So we're lucky to be in these times, like fortunate and unfortunate to be in these times that like we have technology and people can use this app to like get in touch with them. And on a side note, I found out that like my friends are telling me that they're now getting in touch with and being in touch more with their friends in like California that they normally don't see. But now because of Zoom, they're doing it now. And they're like, they talk to each other like, why don't we do this all the time?
Well, that's the power of technology, right? Like anything could be used for good or bad. And, our industry is changing. I just think, you work at a liquor store. I would imagine like, I'm not going to say the way people buy liquor is changing. They're probably buying more liquor, right?
A lot more.
To deal with a lot of the anxiety, but you own a retail shop, right? And so, people have to be 6 feet apart. They got to come in, they have to wear masks. And you know what I mean? Just the way the country is moving, I don't think we'll ever go back to what it was before. I think moving forward.
Yeah. It's gonna be a while. My wife, she works at a wedding venue as a bartender, and when this whole thing clears, I don't really want her to go back to work.
Right.
It's because weddings people go no matter what because they want the free booze. So if they're sick, they're still gonna go. So, but it's like, I'm not sure if I want her to go. And then when they lift the sanctions, so my store, I am in control of that. So every week I have the entire store sanitized. I'm constantly cleaning my hands. My employees are staying 6 feet away from people, and I only allow 6 people in my store at all times. So I'm very much in control of the safety of everybody in my little world. So when they say, okay, you can all go to a bar, I'm not going to go run out to a bar, right? I'm not going to just go flood the bar scene kind of thing. So I'm going to take my time and change things up. And I think nowadays people are going to do the same thing with their families and stuff like that. They're like, well, if we don't even have to go to the liquor store, I think I'm going to start doing a lot more deliveries on a regular basis, and curbside delivery, curbside pickups and stuff, which is fine. Business changes all the time. You have to adapt, right? So whether it be the price of things that people want, or the quantities, the types, the frequency, or the delivery system, they all have to change. So you just have to
be able to adapt.
You got to roll with the punches, right? Being in the corporate world, whenever the corporate company would make a change, you'd have a bunch of people oh, this is terrible, this sucks, I can't believe this is happening. And I'm just well, it can't unhappen, so I might as well just do it.
Right? There's certain things that you just can't control, and you just have to accept the fact that you can't control it, and just be able to make, every time I start a Facebook Live, I say, this moment won't break us, it won't define us, it'll just redesign us. And I truly believe that. I truly believe that we'll come out of this situation better, right, than we were before, because we have to use all of our resources now. Right? Yep. Some people are homeschooling their kids, right? Some people are telecommuting at work. They're like, oh, some companies might be like, why do we need an office? We don't need an office. You guys can stay home. You can stay home. You can stay home and work. They said the atmosphere is cleaner, the ocean is cleaner.
I know.
We're traveling as much. Now, I'm not saying I don't want the economy to open back up. I'm just saying, though we have had a lot of deaths, unfortunately, but at the end of the day, you can still take some positivity out of it, right? And
absolutely.
Getting more connected. I didn't mean it like that, but
right.
They're probably doing that too.
Right. Yeah, you know how many COVID babies are going to come out of this whole thing?
Months later.
A bunch of kids named Covidia, Corina, Corona. 19.
Last question for you. What vendors did you have? Right, so you had an officiant.
Yeah. So at our wedding.
Yes.
So I had a videographer, a photographer, a justice of the peace, and that's it.
And what did you guys do after the wedding?
This was the silver lining. I'll tell you what right now. So my wife's wedding outfit, that Indian wedding gown, it must have weighed, babe, how much did that weigh? 13 pounds, 14 pounds? Yeah, it was heavy, right? And then my outfit was really nice, but it was also white. Now here's the silver lining. We got married, we had the photos and everything, and then when it came time to eat, I was able to change to my sweats. And she changed to comfy clothes, and we got to sit down and have our meal without worrying about spilling on ourselves.
Yes. Yeah,
comfortable. Yeah, so then so we wore this nice outfits, and then my family members, a lot of my family members dressed up. So they were all dressed up, and some of them were wearing a sport coat, shirt and tie with shorts on. Because they didn't nobody sees them.
Oh, so the guests came dressed to the wedding. Well,
yeah, a lot of people dressed up. Yes, a lot of people dressed up and stuff. But then once it's over, you're back in the comfy clothes and you're just lounging on the couch, having a drink or watching TV or whatever. So there's something to be said about that. One of my cousins is like, "This is amazing. We should do this all the time." You wake up, you watch a wedding, go back to sleep.
So, being a technical guy, other than the fact that people couldn't log in, how was the sound quality? It was good because it was outside. Yeah. It looked like you guys were outside when you. Yeah,
I was surprised at how good the microphone on my laptop was. It's nothing. That's not a special.
You have just.
It's a HP. I think it was $900 at Best Buy. I bought it a year ago, or less than a year ago. But yeah, it's the sound quality is awesome. And then my phone is just a Samsung S10, and that was probably 5 feet away from me, and you could hear me when I was in the house, which was like 15 feet away.
So did you guys do a processional? Was there music playing or?
There was no music because we didn't want it to interfere with the videographer and the recordings. So we turned, while we were setting everything up, and then we turned the music off to do the procession of like, I came down and then her son came down to holding the rings. He put those on a table, and then he went back up, and then he walked his mother down to greet me, which is awesome. Yeah, so for that we didn't have anything, and then we had so I had a mic inside my outfit for videographer to record everything with my voice, and my wife's, she didn't have one because it fit in mine, and then the justice of the peace, because we don't know who he is, so we wanted to make him comfortable, so he had like a boom mic like 2 feet away, so that was like really sensitive, so he would pick up any noise, so we didn't want to have music playing there.
A boom mic is hot.
Yeah. So you can do whatever you want, right? It's the beauty is your wedding, and here's another thing: you could have as many takes as you want.
Yeah, right.
If you didn't like how that walk went, do it again. We did the drive off with like just married, and he had a drone, he had this thing, and then we drove off and we waved. He's like, I didn't quite get that. Do it again. So then did it again, and whatever until it was perfect. So it's like, how awesome is that? Like, you have all the time in the world. You took pictures. We walked around the yard. We had some candid shots. We're just having conversation and stuff. Things that you might not be able to do when you do a regular wedding, right? Because everything's rushed, because your vendors are like, okay, you have this venue for 5 hours. At the end of 5 hours, it's over. Whereas if you do it at your house, yes, kind of sucks, but you love your house. Like, we just moved in back in June, so this is our perfect house for us. So to have our wedding here is fantastic. So if you just think of the silver linings and the brighter days and the brighter side of things, I think you can push through anything, right? Especially if if you're getting married, clearly you're with your best friend that's going to support you through thick and thin. So now you have something to remember. And then I bought us both matching watches, and on the back of it I wrote "Always and Forever," which is like one of the things we always say. And then I also wrote COVID-19. I had engraved on the back of the watch.
That's the read.
Yeah. And because there's 3 different dates, we're going to celebrate our anniversary like the entire month of April every year.
So I keep saying last question, right? But you said that you got married at the house because most places they
didn't want to. Yeah, so we were going to get married at Town Hall because the lady said, oh yeah, we have a very beautiful gazebo, so if you want to do that, you can. So we're like, cool. And then like 2 or 3 days before, we're like, all right, cool, we're going to come here on Tuesday. Like, oh no, you can't. We already turned away 2 other people. We decided to not let anybody do it. I'm like, oh, come on. So then, Kristen was like, well, I'm like, let's do it in the backyard. I've always wanted to have an outdoor wedding anyways, and we can decorate that little area. And she's like, okay. And then she's at Home Depot. She's like, what's my budget for decorations? I said, honey, it's our wedding. There's no budget. Because look how much money you save for the wedding venue. You can use all that money and decorate whatever you want.
To get at.
Yeah, so she put the flowers up. We had like little statues inside the house. She moved them all outside of the house, as you saw in that little teaser video. She did a fantastic job, and then like the videographer really captured everything to make it like sound, like make it perfect. It was awesome.
So you did the processional. Now you said you didn't know the officiant, right?
Right.
So how did you find him?
The town hall has a list. Usually most town halls have a list of like justice of the peace they work with. I'm actually ordained at the Universal Life Church, so I can marry people. But I did a Google search.
Your own wedding.
Right. I thought about it. I was like, can I just videotape myself doing it? I was like, can I videotape myself doing it? Like, hey, you sexy beast, you take her. I thought it'd be funny, but no, it's not legal. But you can do. So you can. We didn't know anybody in the area that was ordained or to be an officiant, and so we just went down the list. They gave us a list of like 19 people that are justice of the peaces that have been doing this for a long time, and we just picked one, and he came down wearing gloves, and he was super happy and pleasant, and his words were awesome. I was like, wow, this is great. Like, you couldn't have asked for a better officiant, and he said the nail on the head and made it really special for us. So it was. I don't think our regular wedding could have been this perfect. I think a regular wedding, Now think of it this way: your regular wedding, you're worried about 300 people, and you're worried about everything going right on time. You're worried about the food. You're worried about is your makeup going to run. You're worried about tripping, falling, whatever, and
who didn't show up.
Yeah, who's going to show up? Who didn't show up? You see all these people there, but then you always think about this one person. And hey, wait a minute, they said they're going to be here, and I paid for them. No, that sucks. Yeah, and so now none of those worries are there; they're all gone. So it's just and everything's recorded, so they're cool. So if you happen to miss it, we're going to play it back for you later.
Yes. So any last words to engaged couples, especially groomsmen? Any last words of advice?
Guys, just, the day is, they always say it's about her. It's about both of you. But just remember, make it special, make it fun. And, no matter where you get married, whether you get married in a bathroom or an outhouse or a boathouse or a yacht or whatever, it's the commitment you're making to each other. And that could be done in any place, way, shape, or form. And that's the most important thing. A party can always be had. Events and memories can always be had. The moment you guys both share together is what really matters. And your family, I don't know any families that would be pissed off that you didn't invite them or that you chose their health over your own happiness. So keep that in mind. And you love your family and you love your friends. Why would you want anybody to get sick? Everybody stays healthy and happy, and we're all young. There's plenty of time to party.
Absolutely. Yeah. So, quick commercial break. Where's your liquor store located?
It's in Fairfield, Connecticut. In Fairfield on Black Rock Turnpike. It's called Turnpike Spirit Shop. So we've been fortunate enough to be open. So we've done quite a few things with a lot of small businesses and giving money back to them and trying to keep them afloat, because I love all these guys. So it's bittersweet having the liquor store being open because we're doing really well. It's kind of like hitting the lottery. However, you had to beat up 6 of your friends to do it. And that's not really a trade-off that I like doing. It is what it is. So I try to help out as much as I can to whoever I can. And just like a virus is contagious, so is positivity. Right? Positive energy and positive light can travel just as fast, if not faster, but you just have to be the change that you want to see.
Oh, I like that. You have to be the change that you want to see.
That's not mine. I stole that from somebody else, but I don't know who said it.
I think Martin Luther King, he might have...
That could be the true.
But then he could have took that from Gandhi, right?
Could have. But for now, Parag said it. They can't sue me.
All right, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I'll be in touch whenever I'm in Connecticut. I'm going to come. Matter of fact, it don't matter. I'm going to come visit this store anyway and support your business.
Absolutely. And I got a pool table downstairs so we can shoot some pool too if you want.
Pool. Okay. I get VIP status. That's
it.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
All right, brother. Be well.